Hi, friends. Happy New Year. We are in the very last week of Capricorn already. If that feels to you like things are moving really fast, buckle up because this is our year. This is a year where we have Saturn and Neptune going into Aries very soon, fire sign. We already have Pluto in Aquarius, which is an air sign. We have in July, we're going to see Uranus going into Gemini, an air sign, and Jupiter going into Leo, a fire sign. So we've got 5 of our planets are going to be in fire and air signs. That's a really big deal. And this is, the other planets, Mercury, Mars, Venus, they move much more quickly. So they go through the signs a lot more quickly than these other ones do. These other ones really are they're going to impact the communal, the global energy, whereas Mercury, Mars, Venus are what we call our personal planets. They impact us more on an individual level. So our communal planets are all going into fire and air signs this year. Things are going to heat up. That's what is going to happen. Astrologers have been pointing to 2025 to 2027 as being years of significant change, ushering in significant change. We already see that happening. Some of that is, I'm going to say, very painful. Some of the change is very hard. And I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm just saying in reality, we could all look around us and go, yeah, this specific event that happened recently was harmful. It was painful. It is really difficult for me to make sense of it. That is part of the change that we're already experiencing, and we're going to continue to experience that. And I want us to be able to take time to honor that. We're going to do that. We'll talk in a separate episode about how we handle change, what it means to be living through a period of intense change. Right now, though, what we're going to look at is the individual level. So I want you to know I'm not glossing over that. I'm not trying to pretend like those things aren't there or like, oh, we're going into all these fun things and let's ignore how hard it is. That's not the case at all. But I do want to take a step into our very present moment, which is highly supportive of us on individual levels. That's what I want to focus on today and on this first, really what's going to be the first episode of an entirely new season of the podcast. So as we are thinking about today, one of the changes that's happening kind of under the surface, because it's really a internal change for each one of us, is we are moving away from being defined as people by how well we fit or don't fit within our communal context, right? Our ability to kind of play the part or toe the line or fit into the mold that our culture has placed on us is going to become less important, and our ability to know who we are at our core and live in alignment with that person is going to become significantly more important, and I believe is a huge key to being able to process all of the changes that are coming, to be able to decide what is it that I individually want from my life as well as from what's happening on the collective level. Because what I want might be a little bit different from what you want. And I have to be really clear on what's coming from me versus what's coming from those around me. And there's going to be a shadow side to that, as there is with everything. And that's something I'm sure at some point we'll be able to talk through. But this, just kind of on the neutral level of this, one of the things that we see, whether that's through astrology, through human design, through just studying culture and society, is this move away from how do I fit into the expectations of the collective to who am I as an individual and how do I live that out. This isn't super easy, right? The powers, we still have a lot of powerful structures, a lot of powerful people, a lot of kind of powerful currents that want us to maintain the status quo. They want us to maintain our desire to fit the mold, to toe the line, to do what we're told. And the energy at play is going, oh, hell no, we're not going to do that anymore. That's no longer what we value. And there is a clash there. We're already seeing that. We're going to see that, I think, more powerfully over this year. Again, we have major planets moving out of earth or out of water signs into fire and air signs. So we as individuals need to be grounded. We need to learn to tap into our intuition. We need to learn to stay attuned with our own emotions. That the need for that is going to be bigger than ever. That's what I want us to talk about. This isn't trying to like work against the fire and air energy. It's knowing that there's four energies at play. There's fire and air. There's also earth and water. There's action and thought, fire and air. And there's grounded, emotional, practical energies that we need to continue bringing into our lives. So this is going to be season 2 of the Most True You podcast. Season 1 was fun. It was exploratory. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was giving it a try. Season 2, we are going in looking even more at what does it mean to have practical spirituality at work, in life, in the midst of all this change that is happening. Before we go like too far into the future though, I want us to really go what's happening in the present. I have this vision of like we're standing on the edge looking out over what's coming, looking out at this big picture, but going, okay, I need to step back a minute and just enjoy the sun. Enjoy the beautiful day around me. Enjoy what's happening right now. We have this really cool, it's almost just like, okay, this is a beautiful spring-ish day in the middle of winter, right? Here in Northern California, we had fog and rain for like 6 weeks, which is not our norm. I was like withering away with all that moisture. The sun's been out for over a week now. It's been really nice, but one of the things that I'm really loving is we live kind of at the top of a hill, and so I can sit out on the back porch and like look out over what's going on and just enjoy the sun, enjoy basking in the sun. If you're in an area where you're not getting that right now, I'm really sorry. I want you to envision that. We're going to come back to that kind of just basking in the heart of the sun energy in a minute, but that's what I want us to come back into. It's Capricorn sun season right now. We're heading into a Capricorn New Moon over the weekend. Capricorn is my favorite sign. That's where my moon is, so correlation there. Moon sign, favorite sign. Capricorn is the sea goat. That's the symbol of Capricorn. So it's this kind of dual nature in a way. Capricorn can be very practical, and then that water energy that comes in with the symbolism of the sea goat is it can also be intuitive. So there's kind of this combination of like practical intuition in Capricorn. It is an earth energy, so it's a cardinal energy. Let's start there. That's the start of a season, cardinal energy. It is a beginning season, a season for beginnings. It is an earth energy, but it is not like, Taurus energy is like a meadow where a cow would graze. Virgo energy is like a beautifully curated farmland. Capricorn energy is a mountain. It is an earth sign. It is supportive. It is grounding, but it's a mountain energy. So that's a different kind of earth energy. It's the energy of setting big goals and then going step by step by step to meet that goal. Capricorn's ruled by Saturn, which is our planet of structure, of limits, of constraint, of quality. Those are all very Capricorn values. So think like quality over quantity when you're thinking about Capricorn. Same thing with just thinking about the year ahead, right? Our goals, this isn't the year to set a list of 12 different goals for the year necessarily. It may be, after you listen to this, you may be like, yeah, actually, it is my year for 12 goals. Most likely, it's going to be a year for, again, quality over quantity. Getting crystal clear on what it is that you want to focus on, what do you value most for this year, and then using that Saturnian energy to help you with that. It's actually, the energy of this month is really cool because more than any other recent January, the astrological energy of this month is very supportive of starting new things. So we already had Venus Cazimi and Mars Cazimi. Cazimi just means in the heart of the sun. So the planets of Venus and Mars were already at the heart of the sun. Mercury will be cazimi, and Pluto will be cazimi in January as well. So 4 planets at the heart of the sun. And that is significant because that's starting a new cycle for those planets. So for each of those planets, they're starting a new cycle. And you'll notice that 3 of them, Venus, Mars, and Mercury, are the 3 that I didn't name as going into new signs because they kind of go through signs more quickly than the others that we talked about. Pluto's the 4th one. So we have 4 planets starting new cycles this month. We have Neptune heading into Aries January 26th, and then Saturn's going to join it on February 13th. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's the initiation. It's, again, the starting of a new cycle for those 2 planets. So now we're at 6 new cycles starting in a very, very short period of time. Then we also have this new moon in Capricorn this weekend. That's a new cycle. And then we have the new moon in Aquarius in February is actually going to be an eclipse. So all of these things going on, the astrology is saying, hey, stuff has ended. Last year was a 9-year. It was the year of the snake. That was a year of shedding. It was a really hard year for a lot of people. You were ending a cycle. You were releasing the things that are not going to serve you going into what's next. Now we're starting new cycles. Nearly every planet this year, in one way or another, either going into a new sign or having that cazimi, is starting a new cycle this year. That's huge. It is big when you think about change. If change is hard, then that could be scary. We will have a whole episode on that. And it's exciting because we get to go into this knowing that this is coming. We get to go into this knowing that all of these new cycles are happening. This isn't something that we're going in unaware of. Okay, we are buckling up. That's what we're doing this month. Or we can look at this as, hey, Capricorn, Mountain, we are at base camp. We are making a plan for what it's going to take to get to the top of the mountain and back down safely. That is a really good way to look at this new year, to look at this new moon. If you are in the Sacramento area, we're actually going to be doing something on January 19th that I want to just tell you about really quickly. And if you're not, still listen, because this just really encompasses what I see this next year being. So I'm going to be co-leading something called the Becoming Year. It's a 13 moon journey throughout the year of 2026 that begins with, we're going to set goals for the year. We're not just doing vision boarding. I think that can be helpful, but we're going to be getting ultra clear on what it is that we want to accomplish and how we're going to do that. And then we're going to compare the pursuit of our goals with the astrological energies of the year. So these things that I'm talking about now, we're going to talk about there. We're going to talk about what that means for setting goals. And then we're going to be doing that each moon cycle for 13. So all the way until the next Capricorn New Moon, which is at the beginning of 2027. We're going to be doing this once a month. And then we're also going to be bringing in other community leaders who are going to be helping us just get new spiritual practices that can support our pursuit of our goals, support the pursuit of our own growth. So we have somebody coming in to do meditation with us this first meeting. The next one, I can't wait to tell you all about it. I'm going to hold off because we don't have it completely in stone yet. But it's going to be really cool. I'm so excited about it. But the next one, we're going to be looking at what is it from our past that has kind of held us back historically from meeting our goals, and how do we release those patterns, right? With that Aquarius eclipse, that's going to be a really powerful time to go, we are really fully, finally shedding the past that holds us back, the things that don't serve us, the things that maybe we needed at one point in our lives, we don't now, just kind of completing that like 9-year final shedding of the snake skin. So that is happening. It's going to be once a month, Monday evenings, 6 to 8 p.m. at Rock Mama in Sacramento. It's such a cool place to be. If you haven't been there yet, I'm so excited if you get to go. I will put a link in the show notes to register. And I'll talk about it at the very end too. So we're going to come back to it. But I wanted to share that with all of you because whether you can join us or not, for that. This is the energy of the year. This is a year to commit to your growth, commit to your goals, commit to yourself. Whatever that is, commit to it. This is the year of continual baby steps climbing that mountain. That's what I want you to think about this year, is just baby steps to your goals. Baby steps, knowing that it's not going to be one big miraculous event that suddenly makes you rich or suddenly gets you the spiritual growth and integration that you've been seeking, or suddenly gets you to understand your chart, or I don't know, whatever it is that you have that you're thinking about this year. It could be some big one-time miraculous event. It is most likely going to be you are committed. It is the thing that you value the most, and you are taking the necessary steps to get there. That is what the vast majority of us need for this year. New moons. We've talked about this at the very beginning of season 1. If you are not familiar with the moon cycles, I encourage you to go back and listen to the episode on the lunar cycles. Really helpful. New moons initiate a 28-day cycle as well as a 3-year cycle. That one is called the lunar phase family. And I want you to keep this in mind, because as you're setting goals or creating intentions for this new moon and the new year, I want you to break them down into manageable chunks. So for me, I know this is like a cliche thing, but I don't care. I really am committed this year to my own health. So rather than saying, oh, I'm going to go lose X number of pounds or build my strength to a certain level or any other goal that's just for the entire year, I started with 4 weeks, right? 1 month essentially. For the month of January, I am committed to doing some form of exercise, bare minimum twice a week. I'd really like to be 3, but because I'm coming from 3 months of no intentional exercise to very intentional movement, I'm going, my bare minimum is 2. 3 is really what I'm aiming for, but I'm not allowing myself under 2 unless I'm like physically incapable of it. And I've done that for the last week was the first week of that. I had either 3 or 4 days. I actually have a tracker for it, which is really helpful. I've done very intentional movement, and I've given myself the space and the grace to go, yeah, I planned out an exercise routine, but the reality is 2 of those days I went on walks. It wasn't lifting weights every day. It was, so I just am sharing this with you so that you kind of see what I'm saying, is that that's my baby step. My baby step is bare minimum twice a week for 4 weeks. Then I can add on to that. Okay, now it's 3 times a week. And then I can add on to that. Now it is more structured. But trying to go from 3 months or more of really a very inactive lifestyle to working out 3, 4, 5 times a week in a very structured environment is not practical. That's right. Capricorn's practical. It's an earth energy. Be practical about this. Start small, knowing that that's going to lead to something big. For this new moon, I want you to think about what you want to commit to in the long run and how you do that in shorter sprints or shorter stints. So the next few weeks are going to remain very, very supportive of you taking really concrete action toward your goals. And then I want you to know that later in February, the energy is going to chill out a little bit. We're going to be asked to go back inward. And we're going to play this year with that ebb and flow of energy. We're not always going to have high drive, high stamina, high motivation. There's going to be times where we need to retreat. We need to rest. And what a gift to know that and to give ourselves the space for that. Okay, if you're local and you are able to join us on Monday, January 19th at 6 p.m. at Rock Mama, please do so. I am so excited about this. I'm co-leading this with someone else. We met this week, over the weekend, to kind of finalize our plans for the first one. And it just feels so good. My Capricorn New Moon is just shining, or my Capricorn Moon is shining so bright, going, let me help you build out a structure that is going to support you for the year to come. That is what this is. If you're not local and you want support like that, reach out to me. This is an excellent time to start to get that kind of support through coaching, through having somebody who can go, yes, let's set that structure together, And then let's continue looking at that structure together and making sure that we're doing so in the context of your own chart, right? I'm talking global right now. I'm talking communal, collective. When we do coaching, you get individualized support specific to you and your chart, specific to, okay, but what does this actually mean for you? Where's Capricorn in your chart? Where are Neptune and Saturn and Aries in your chart? How does this play out with everything else you have going on? That is so exciting. So if that's something you want, I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, you can get me on email. All of that is in the show notes. If you're local, you can go to the show notes or just go to the Rock Mama website. They have a list of classes, and that's where the registration is. So always to connect going forward. I am really excited about this, y'all. The end of 2025, I just have realized over the last 3 years that I fizzle out in December. And so now I'm going to really be purposeful about honoring that as I go forward. 2025 ended with a fizzle out of the podcast and of everything else that I do. We all have to learn how to honor our own natural energies, right? That's part of this whole change of going, yeah, our society and our culture want us to go, 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 go all the time. And on January 1st, we reset and we're ready to go for the year ahead. The reality is that is not how any of us function. So the more that we all pay attention to this, the better off we're all going to be. Rabbit trail. Y'all, I love getting to connect with you. If anything in this episode has resonated with you, send me an email, write a review so that others know what's going on. Share this with a friend. Some way, let's continue the connection. So much love, so many blessings to you as we continue Capricorn season and head into this Capricorn new moon and